Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello there, and welcome to all my listeners. Today we are diving into a unique episode where we're going to explore 5 keys to help you give a basic and coherent numerology reading. But before I dive in, I want to welcome those of you who are new here. In this podcast, we discuss numerology as a path for inner transformation, spiritual growth, and self-understanding. I attempt to make numerology grounded, accessible, and also applicable for everyday matters so that you can take this knowledge in a grounded way and apply it to make your life better, more conscious, more balanced, and in the end of the day, aligned with your soul and with your true purpose in this lifetime. Now, if you want to dive deeper into numerology, here are a few ways you can do so. So first of all, you can book a numerology reading with me. In a reading, you can ask any question that is burning in your life and get precise and self-tailored answers exactly to you in this particular time. You can read more about my readings and contact me through the link in the episode description to book your reading with me. Now, if you wish to study numerology on a deeper level or even pursue it as a career, I invite you to check out my 2 study paths. First, check out my self-study numerology courses that give you the rare opportunity to learn numerology online at your own pace from your mobile device, your laptop, or your tablet. My library of courses currently includes 2 self-study courses, and more are coming up. Or if you want to be initiated into the rare depths of numerology, you can sign up to my complete path of certification where you study directly one-on-one with me, all the way from a total beginner to a numerology expert, and you get certified as a professional numerologist. To read more about both study paths, check out the links in the episode description. Now, without further ado, let us dive into today's topic. Perhaps you're already dabbling with numerology for a while. Maybe you've even learned numerology with some teacher or course. Perhaps you've even purchased some of my online courses. But at the end of the day, it's not only about how much knowledge you have, but about your ability to translate this knowledge into an engaging, useful, and clear numerology reading for your friends, family, and maybe clients. My in-depth students always ask me to help them understand how to construct a numerology reading that makes sense, how to not get lost in all the details, and to actually choose the relevant information to share with the person or client. This is an important topic and one I will attempt to cover in this episode. Now, take into account that people, can ask you a variety of personal questions which require more specific skill and focus. Focus that is also more particular on relevant and particular details. Now, I'm not going to talk about that as, one can't cover all of this in one episode. I will talk about what I call a general numerology reading, something that actually many people, if not most people, want and actually come for. Basically, I'll teach you in this episode what you should focus on in order to give people a complete engaging, and focused reading that will feel well integrated and give you solid anchors to lean on, and them a reading that is satisfying and touches all the main points. So, to begin with, I suggest looking at the only two numbers in your core numbers, or in the person's core numbers, that are derived from the date of birth, namely the life path number and the birthday number. Together, they reveal something very essential about our deepest lessons in life, and also what is our core most emotional nature. I start there because it grounds the entire reading in the most primary essence of the person. These two numbers, when looked at together as a combination that works in synergy, they provide you with an excellent starting point to understand some of the deepest motivations of a person and how they feel life in the most immediate way. It's a great way to ground the person in their most fundamental lessons in life and give their reading a sense of orientation. And giving orientation is very, very important. Um, I personally present that as the central axis around which everything else revolves. It's important to create the sense of stability and clarity for the people we give readings to. A mistake that I sometimes see numerologists doing is providing too many details, and it all becomes sort of scattered. And sometimes these details are also details that don't make so much sense or don't matter that much and aren't even that central to the person's life. And that's why I'm saying orientation is very important. So we start by grounding the person in something very relatable. Say, for example, their life path is a 9 and their birthday number is a 6. Now, I would tell them that essentially they are givers. They are givers with a big heart, and they will always approach life and people with a willing heart, a generous heart, a heart that truly cares. I will speak to their natural warm nature and the wish to master the quality of love in many ways and forms. I'll probably also mention the quality of sacrifice that is very, very essential in the way they approach life. And again, a lesson they're also meant to learn and eventually embody right there at the core. Now, there are many more things we can say, but naturally, for that, we simply need to learn numerology. We can't cover that in an episode. So now that we're anchored, okay, or our client or the person we're giving a reading to is anchored, we are going to unpack this further. So it's time to expand now into the sacred triad. I talk about the sacred triad a lot. It refers to the life path number, the expression number, and the soul urge number. But more importantly, it refers to them as three main numbers that interact, not as standalone factors. And this has to do with the important topic of number combinations that I repeatedly talk about in my episodes, for those of you who already know me. and that unfortunately most numerologists don't talk about. But in actuality, number combinations is the real glue that binds everything together in numerology. The sacred triad reveals the more complete makeup of the person, who they are, their core tendencies, strengths, and weaknesses, and challenges, right? And sometimes even traumas, but also amazing potentials, right? And so much more. In fact, if I would have to narrow down the entire reading to only one thing, right? If I would have to sort of take these five keys we're going to talk about, so now we're already at the second key, right? The first one was the two calculations derived from the date of birth, right? Now we're talking about the second key, which is the sacred triad, right? So um, if I would have to narrow it down to only one key, I'd say speak about the sacred triad. That will be more than enough, I promise you. You will need naturally to learn number combinations really well in order to do so. And luckily, I have created, in fact, the only self study course out there about this important topic. So if that interests you, you can check it out. So again, say their life path is a number 9, as we said, with the previous example. Their expression number is a 1, and their soul urge number is a 4. So I will start talking about the combos with the person. First, I'll talk about potential, and then perhaps about some of the shadows. I'll talk about the power, fire, idealism, and leadership of the 1-9 combo, and how it gives, you know, uh, great strength. I will also speak about the 1-4 combo and its focus, integrity, strong and sharp mind, loyalty, and the ability to manifest and be good at their careers and jobs. I will speak about the values and care for justice of the 4-9 combo, and so on. I will then also speak about the problem of 4-9 as an example, which tends to open and close their heart very abruptly, to say a big like big yeses and then big nos all of a sudden, and about their tendency for suspicion as a result of these openings and closings. I will also speak about the tendency of the 1-9 combo to be too fanatical at times with its ideals and excessive fire. So at this point, the person should feel very well seen and already deeply engaged. And again, there are many, many more things that can be said. I only want to give you a taste so you can see the sort of the way to work with number combinations. But it's a topic you need to learn in depth. So now that, right, we've given them clarity about who they are, it's time to move a bit more into what I call timing techniques and speak about the lessons of the time. So we're shifting into our third key now. But before I keep talking about that, if you're enjoying this podcast and you want to keep learning more grounded and applicable and high quality numerology, make sure to subscribe and follow me on the social media, on the platform you're listening from. Turn on the notifications bell, and make sure to become part of my community. Also, my friends, make sure to follow me on Substack, where I write in-depth content about numerology and Dharma combined. The link to follow me on Substack is in the podcast episode description. And lastly, make sure to check out the comment section, leave a comment, engage, share your thoughts, and I'll attempt to answer you as much as I can. So let's move on. It's time to take a deeper look at the current cycle, pinnacle, and challenge numbers in order to provide the person with clarity about the overarching energy that is governing the core energetic environment they are walking in. Another way to see it is we want to tell them what's the general purpose of the years to come, what life wants to teach them, where life wants them to practice their core numbers, in what environment, okay? In what school environment, you can also think about it that way. So by revealing this information to the person, you are giving them a much more complete map of their path. Now you're actually also speaking to the dynamic energies of their life, and in their life, and not only about the root essence and personality, which we did in the first two keys. In this third key, right, we're sort of moving into this new territory of timing. In a way, you have now opened the GPS and are starting to tell them about the specific terrain they will be treading for some time to come. Or perhaps a terrain they have already been treading for a while, but now you can help them make sense of it from a higher perspective. So, say the person is in an 8 cycle and a 9 pinnacle with a challenge 2. Again, this is just a random example. So, here too, I will have to work with number synergy or number combinations. I will tell them about the intense and potent time they are in with the 8-9 cycle and pinnacle, and how many doors are opening before them, many opportunities to manifest and create, but also how intense it can all get. Lots of potential for expansion, but also for burnout and overwhelm if not managed well. I will also mention the 2 challenge, which tells me that perhaps during such an intense time where they might find themselves super busy and overflowing with tasks and projects, intimacy might be compromised and tensions in relationships may arise more than usual. Now, again, as I've already said earlier, there are many ways to interpret these numbers and expand on them and sort of unpack the meaning. But here I want to give you a taste of how to think like a numerologist. Again, if you want to learn it deeper, I've already mentioned, right, my courses or the in-depth studies. That's really the way to go about it if you want to know how to really sort of unpack the fuller meanings of these numbers and the way they interact. Fourth key. So next, I will also check if there is any challenging element in their period cycles. I will personally look for recurring challenge numbers and also check whether their cycle and pinnacle are in conflict. Okay, we're still staying, like the fourth key, we're still sort of staying in that realm of the cycle, pinnacle, and challenge, but now we're looking at it from a different perspective. We're looking at it from the perspective of challenge because, again, if there's a bumpy road or a traffic jam ahead, we want to let them know. So the dynamic energies of the time, right, can can definitely pose challenges, and we want to be aware of them, and we want to know how to work with them. So if I notice a recurring challenges in the person's chart, I'll actually talk about that. I find it very important. If, for example, I see twice or three times a recurring challenge number two, okay, I'll just use the previous example, I'll keep rolling with it. I will make sure to explain that to the person. I will speak about the deficit that they have to encounter time and time again regarding intimacy and the ability to sustain long-term relationships. Perhaps the whole, relationship with the feminine energy is somewhat problematic. The mother figure, perhaps. And again, this is, of course, only one possibility of a recurring two challenge, right? There are many more ways to interpret it. I will also, as I said, take a look at the cycle and pinnacle and see if they are conflicting. So let's give an example. Say, let's forget about the 8-9 from before. Let's say they are in a cycle 4 and a pinnacle 5. I will explain the nature of the conflict of the time to the person. So, for example, perhaps life wants them to juggle the fine line between stability of home life, roots and stable career, while also demanding a busy schedule full of traveling. Okay. Or conversely, they might also feel a strong calling to travel and, free themselves of commitment, gain new experiences, have some adventures with a 5, but the 4 won't always allow that, right? So, like two forces opposing, creating more friction. Um, you know, perhaps, they might be trying to establish more stability in their life, but the 5 will shake things up every once in a while. So they're just these different ways to see that, and it's important to point out that point of friction, so they're not, us as numerologists, we want to give clarity. Perhaps the person has already noticed that, right? They're actually working through those frictions in their life, but when you're giving them the meta perspective, we can say it really gives a sort of a confirmation to what's going on. Like I'm not just crazy, or I'm not just like struggling in vain. There actually is some conflict, energetic conflict, that is part of my journey. And now we're moving into our last key, the fifth key. So, lastly, I will speak to their current personal year. That's the fifth and last key for a basic but pretty comprehensive numerology reading. The personal year, dives into more more specifically into this current year of their life. And the personal year runs from birthday to birthday. So when I say it goes more specifically, right, into this year, I'm talking about the lessons, the challenges, the potentials. This is usually very engaging for the person and provides them with valuable and palpable information they can work with directly and easily. If they are, say, in a personal year number 6, I would explain to them that the code of the time, right, is investing in the people that they love, their partner, their spouse, their family, their friends. It's a great time for healing and therapy, and a lovely time to build community in their life or strengthen connections that truly matter to them. So the personal year gives sharp focus to the current season, we can say, and how to best work with it. Now, in my experience, most people love hearing about their personal years since it is pretty easily felt in their direct experience. And it also provides a lot of clarity and a sense of immediate meaning and direction in life. And that sort of covers and finishes the fifth key. So, with these five keys, I can guarantee that you will give a numerology reading that truly leaves a positive impact and also keeps your friends, family, or clients truly engaged. This is a very solid and reliable structure for a reading and is also very comprehensive. In my experience, it is also the most enjoyable form of reading for most clients and people. After all, we all want to know more about ourselves, who we are, the energies working in our lives, right? The lessons that are coming up and the lessons at our core. So try it out for yourself and let me know how it worked for you. Share your experience in the comments, and I would love to hear about that. So, before we wrap this up, again, if you enjoy this podcast, make sure to subscribe and follow me on social media, on the platform you're listening from. Turn on the notifications bell, become part of my community. Make sure, as mentioned earlier, to follow me on Substack, where I write in depth content that combines numerology and Dharma. The link is in the podcast episode description. Remember also that you can use the comments to just share your thoughts or ask questions. I'll attempt to answer as much as I can. Check out my numerology readings if you want to experience numerology for yourself. And lastly, check out my self-study numerology courses or in-depth numerology certification studies if you want to acquire deeper mastery of numerology. My friends, it's always a joy to share with you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, I'll see you in the next ones. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.